Hi, I'm Jeff Morris. Oh, wait, I am. Welcome back to another edition of the Creators Podcast. I'm still Jeff Morris, the Chief Marketing Officer at Visit West Hollywood.
And I'm Sarah Dandashy, a former longtime concierge from right here in West Hollywood. And today we have a really interesting episode. We had Degen Pener, who is the deputy editor of The Hollywood Reporter. And I thought this was so cool because, you know, so many of us know The Hollywood Reporter and you know, it's, you know, a magazine that really brings to life the entertainment industry. And so much of that takes place right here in our backyard in West Hollywood. And so it was really interesting to talk to him because he shared a different perspective on West Hollywood, almost through this Hollywood lens.
Yeah, you know, I think there's always this question about how is West Hollywood different than Hollywood? Mm-hmm. And I think he gives some insight into that.
Yeah, definitely cool. Talking all about style, culture, entertainment industry, all of that.
Yes.
And more. Well, this is exciting. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
Hi,
Thank you for having me. Nice to meet you both.
Yeah, likewise. Want to just kind of like set the stage. So how did you kind of like start your career and kind of what ended up getting you here? I mean, you're based in West Hollywood, so
yeah, I live in West Hollywood. I've lived here for about 15 years.
Yeah.
We live on the east side of West Hollywood.
Nice.
It's kind of a fun area. But I've been right out of college. I got a job at New York Magazine. I was a fact checker. And then I had my sights set on working on the gossip column, and I used to give tips to the two people that did the gossip column.
So wait, what was it about the gossip column?
It was just
it's fun.
It was a fun thing. It was like, you know, sort of I was really interested in just like hearing stuff out on the town. Basically,
Yeah.
I'd go out like to 3 events every night. You know,
Wow.
in New York.
Did you grow up in New York?
I grew up in Kansas City.
Oh, you did?
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're there in New York, and you've got this, you know, I mean, you're writing for these different publications, and then what ends up bringing you over to West Hollywood?
Really, my partner Eric, who you know we've been together about 15 years. Like I was living in Culver City. I had moved to the West Coast a few years before that.
Yeah.
Kind of wanted to change. Was in Santa Barbara for a while, we got a place in West Hollywood together. A beautiful Spanish duplex, and it's been amazing. You know, especially for you know people don't always think this. You know, for raising a kid, like being right in the middle of the city. I mean, it's amazing. You know, we love the parks here. We love the park and rec department.
Yeah.
There's that small town feel with the whole cool glamour factor at the same time in West Hollywood. Which
it's interesting. We hear that
really
a lot.
like.
Is that it's a surprising because all we talk about is all the nightlife that happens on the Sunset Strip and Santa Monica Boulevard and the elevated shopping and the design district. But really, there are a lot of families here and there are a lot of parks, and they take care of the parks and rec department for sure.
Oh, wait, I realize I rudely interrupted you with the gossip.
The gossip column.
Gossip column. So continue on from there.
So yeah, I worked on the gossip column at New York Magazine for about a couple years, and then I got hired to go to the style section of the New York Times when they launched it, and I had my own column in every week in the New York Times when I was like 25 years old.
Wow. That's crazy.
And
wait, so how was that like? Did you have a pinch me moment with that?
Yeah,
because
it was fun. It was really fun.
Because 25, you think you know everything, but like we really don't.
I was pretty young then.
Yeah,
I was pretty young. I had really great editors.
Guiding you,
yes, guiding me, and but I, among other things, I broke the news that the young Marky Mark was going to be in his underwear in a Calvin Klein ad. That was
what
some of the scoops we were able to do in the New York Times then.
Oh my gosh, that's so fun.
Yeah, it was.
So
it was
what
really
happened
fun.
with that? Like when you broke the news for that, like did that moment change your career at all? Would you say, or was it more like for yourself?
Not really, because the internet didn't exist then. So nothing really like. You didn't get all this traffic or anything go viral.
You didn't travel that fast back then, right?
Yeah. No, I remember we were at New York Magazine before that, and we heard the news that the Trumps were getting divorced, Ivana and Donald.
Yeah.
And we were at a weekly magazine with no website, and we were like, what can we do with this news? Because we knew the New York Post would have it by like Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah.
So we were just sitting there, pre-internet, dead in the water.
Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy to
It was
think?
weird.
Crazy
It was weird.
to think
Yeah.
how instantaneous everything is now,
Yeah.
right?
So,
And
I mean,
so at the Hollywood Reporter, obviously you're doing that all the time, right?
yeah.
I was thinking about you because BAFTAs were just yesterday. I was thinking you probably all over that, right?
Our movie team was, and our team in London were all over that for sure. I oversee a lot of our best dress coverage as well. So we're gearing up for like best dressed at the SAG Awards. We just did best dressed at the Grammys. We do a lot of interesting stuff. I oversee style, lifestyle, and culture at the Hollywood Reporter. So we've also looked recently in a partnership with this data company called Launch Metrics at, they really look at the earned media that brands and stars get on their red carpet. So we do this thing where we announce like who won each red carpet. And we're going to do a recap at the end of award season. So actually like Miley Cyrus edged down Taylor Swift at the Grammys with that.
Oh, did you like that?
It was fun. It was fun.
Okay, I like the dress. I think I couldn't get past her hair. I'm sorry.
It was a lot.
Sorry. Did you notice her
The
hair?
hair was cool
You don't even know what we're
and
talking
fun.
about.
Yes, I do.
Oh, you do?
I watched
Okay.
the Grammys.
Okay.
Yeah. So back to this Launch Metrics thing, though. Back to the Launch Metrics thing. You said that it actually measures the amount of social media that stars are getting on the red carpet
and regular media. Yeah,
Earned
any
media.
kind of media.
and
And
the people who win are those who have more exposure overall.
Yeah,
Is that
and they
how that
assign a
works?
dollar value. It's sort of like earned media. So
Just
that-
like PR would or something.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly. So like Miley maybe got like 7 million in earned media wearing Margiela, and Taylor had like 6.8 million wearing I think
close.
Schiaparelli.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting. So at the Hollywood Reporter, do you feel like you can influence that? Can you you report on style,
Yeah,
right? Style is
like,
different, right?
Yeah.
It's a taste thing in many ways, right?
Yeah.
It's what's gonna
I feel
hook.
like we've thought about this a lot. We both want to, because we cover the business of Hollywood, we cover the people that make the movies and make television. We also report on what those people are up to, and we kind of reflect and want to give an inside view of what the tastemakers are doing in Hollywood and what they like and where they're traveling and what they're wearing. But we also, as editors ourselves, we really put out there things that we think are great that our readers might want to hear about as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Can we talk a little bit about like the kind of like the history of the Hollywood
Yeah.
Reporter? Because
Yeah, so-
it's certainly, it's ingrained obviously in Hollywood, but that too also being West Hollywood as well.
So we were founded in 1930 in, I believe, Hollywood as a classic trade paper, and we really were that for decades.
And it was daily, right?
It was a daily. It wasn't very visual at all. It was just the facts,
Yeah.
ma'am, as they say.
Yeah.
A bit. Under our former editorial director, Janice Min, we became a glossy weekly magazine.
Like 2010-ish, right?
2010, and that's when we started really covering style and lifestyle. And
Yeah.
I came over, I'd been the editor-in-chief at Angelino magazine, and came over to head up our style coverage and our culture coverage in
Well, and I think that
Then in 2010?
2010.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So 9 years now, full time. Yeah.
Which is
right, because you
amazing.
said you took a little hiatus
Yeah.
for daughter raising, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
given your career trajectory and how much it's tied into culture, fashion, style, all of that, even when you weren't necessarily in West Hollywood, I mean, what is it about West Hollywood that kind of keeps bringing us back to, like, why are creatives so driven? Why are creatives so attracted to this part of the world?
Yeah, it's such a good question because you've got a number of independent cities in LA County. You've got Santa Monica, Beverly Hills, and Culver City. And certainly we have like the rise of all the streamers having offices down in Culver City. But West Hollywood continues to shine as far as having this sort of coolness, this dynamism, this glamour, from the hotels on the Sunset Strip to the restaurants to, just some of the people that live here that you don't necessarily get with some of these other cities, really. It's really retained this for appeal and allure for decades now.
Yeah.
Everybody from the Selling Sunset cast,
Yeah.
to, I'm trying to think of trying to think of who else actually lives in West Hollywood that like on our, celebrities. I always forget like where the borders are, sometimes.
Yeah,
but
the borders of West Hollywood are a little funky, but you see people here all of the time.
I mean, even if they're not living here and they're just living across the border, they're working out here, they're dining here, they're going out here, they're shopping here.
Exactly.
So do you remember when, this is interesting, do you remember when kind of West Hollywood maybe first got on your radar?
I mean, I first came out to visit LA, I think in the late 80s and stayed at the Mondrian.
Oh, fun. So
And was Asia to Cuba already happening?
Or maybe.
Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe.
It was like
that might have been a little after that.
I feel like it was after.
But it was the very beginning of like the design hotel, which had sort of started in New York, but quickly, you had, the Mondrian, you had then, Andre Balazs bought Chateau Marmont and things were starting to really happen. And that was West Hollywood,
totally.
In the Strip.
Well, it's interesting just because it's like, obviously you're writing about it. And even though you may have been in New York at the time, so much of the content that you were creating and writing about tied into this area. So I'm sure that just must have been, you get this sort of mystique or this of the area when you're kind of thinking about it that way.
Yep, and there were, restaurants that would come out to visit. I remember when Luke opened. It's
oh
not
my
around
gosh!
anymore, but that,
I remember that.
Or we would, Maxfield, or there were, Fred Siegel. I think that's West Hollywood. Maybe it's LA.
No, it's
no. Well, now it's on the Strip.
Well, now, right now.
But when it was on
Strip,
Melrose,
just outside.
Just outside.
We call it West Hollywood adjacent.
West Hollywood adjacent.
So
I like West Hollywood adjacent.
Yeah, right. Yeah. If they're cool enough, we call them adjacent.
Yes,
if not, we just say LA.
LA.
That is one of my pet peeves, which are I guess we should take it as a compliment as people who live in West Hollywood. The businesses that aren't in West Hollywood that say they're in West Hollywood.
Yes.
Like especially on West 3rd Street, you have, fashion businesses or jewelry. Sometimes I'll get a press release, such and such jewelry store opens in West Hollywood. And that my writer will even put it in their story. And I said, did you check?
Yeah.
Did you check Google? Because it's not West Hollywood.
Yeah.
They're drafting off the glamour a little bit.
That's okay with me because I figure that means our brand is strong.
Okay.
And, I figure if people are going to come and enjoy a place, and if a business is wanting to say they're West Hollywood, we don't get supported by them. It's not like as the visitor bureau, we get, any compensation from that. But I think it draws more people to the neighborhood. So I'm just curious, do you find, that you're reporting from West Hollywood or seeing a lot of things that are happening in West Hollywood during our award season?
Yeah, a ton. As far as especially at the major hotels, at the Edition, at the London, at the Sunset Tower. There's going to be brand activations. There's going to be
press junkets,
facialists coming in from out of town to set up shop for awards and charging. We just wrote about someone that has a $1,250 facial.
Oh,
custom.
Wait,
it's custom.
A $1,250 facial.
Yes, custom facial.
Oh, only to be found here in West Hollywood?
She's opening at, no, it's at L'Hermitage. So
that's fine.
Nearby.
Close by. It's adjacent.
West Hollywood adjacent.
Yes. Yes.
Love that.
Yeah.
But you have so much happening with the movie award season and everyone getting ready and for each red carpet and staying at so even if they live here, sometimes they'll come and stay maybe in West Hollywood at one of the hotels so their glam team and can get to them easily.
Well,
they can get to wherever they're going easily.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I think that's another thing that we actually haven't really talked about too much in our past episodes, but the amount of style, and how much style and fashion. We've obviously we know design, we know the food scene, we know the nightlife scene, but this is such a hub for style, fashion, all of this.
Especially Melrose Place, which is West Hollywood, right? Mm-hmm. Yes,
it's close.
Adjacent.
It is parts. I think
some of it,
not the whole thing is. But this is why I say that the outline of West Hollywood is very strange. We could be sitting in West Hollywood on one side of the street, and across the street might be Los Angeles. So Melrose Place is technically, I think, half in.
But that's one thing that we've really noticed a lot with our reporting on sort of the luxury scene and style is sort of the rise of how much retail space is given over to private shopping now.
Oh, yeah.
And private suites and salons. So say Saks, which just opened in Beverly Hills, has 15 private salons on the 5th floor. Chanel on Rodeo, 50% of the store, the top 2 of the 4 floors are just for private shopping.
Wow.
And then pretty much in West Hollywood, Gucci opened a private store right at the, right at that very prominent corner at like, I don't know, right on Melrose.
Yes,
and
right.
It's just for, you can't go in unless you have an appointment. Actually, I think Maxfield does the same thing now.
I think you can go into Maxfield.
I've heard you have to ask.
Oh.
Or they ask you, who's your salesperson?
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
Oh.
Wow.
So there's a lot more catering to that, and then you have the customers here that are, and they I think I've heard they really they redo the store for whatever client comes in on the hour.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're really catering it for private shopping, it's knowing that they're going to like XYZ style, or they have more whatever it is, or maybe they're taller and they need items that are for taller people like myself, or whatever it is, more petite. I can totally see that they would do that.
Or if you're going on a trip, you can really see everything like,
or if a man's shopping versus a woman.
Put out in front of me so I can see how it all hangs together.
That'd be nice.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Fascinating. No, it is just so interesting. Just again, how West Hollywood just plays a role in so much of that.
Yeah. You really have that fashion district there around Melrose Place. You've got the design district up and down La Cienega and on Robertson. That huge, amazing 3 or 4 story casino store that opened with all the beautiful, their Italian furniture and both new additions and classic pieces, and further up Robertson as well, and
it's really, I keep saying Sunset Strip has really had a renaissance ever since like the Pendry opened, and ever since the Addition got here, and some of those new hotels have really, reinvigorated, I think, what's happening on Sunset Strip. But the same is true for the design district. Louis Vuitton just opened their shop.
Oh, the pop-up with the first look at Pharrell Williams menswear for Louis Vuitton right there.
Right on the corner. So similar to like the Gucci situation that you talked about. I think when people want to open something new here, they do it, especially designers like that. They like to be in that spot.
It's a good, it's interesting because now that it is a really great place for pop-ups, because it's they can kind of test the market, so to speak. They can have this little spot. And I mean, we've seen so many of them happening on Melrose. And
I think a lot of it is like a testing ground here.
Yeah.
Like they'll come and see what flies and see what kind of lines they get out the door and how much interest there is in it, and just see what kind of pops. And then you'll see them open up, permanent locations elsewhere. It's like that mayor I said,
oh yes,
said,
this is a
said
great
the
quote.
words, which is, I always forget how it goes exactly, but it's something like other destinations consume culture. In West Hollywood, we export it. And I think that's really kind of a true notion.
Like, how would you describe like the role you see like West Hollywood plays in what we know of as Hollywood?
I mean, as far as the stars that live here and the executives and producers and directors that'll live here. So you'll probably become very aware of West Hollywood through their social media, their Instagram.
Yeah.
There's all the events that happen on the Strip, especially at the Addition, at the Pendry, at the whichever hotel. So there's tons of event coverage where it's on Getty Images, it'll say at so-and-so hotel in West Hollywood. So lots of red carpets, lots of cocktail parties, lots of also like showrooms that are set up for award season. And then I would say restaurants for sure. You're going to see a lot, like whether it's all the, Craig's or Catch LA.
Yeah.
You don't have that many restaurants in the world where paparazzi are like outside the restaurant every night.
All the time.
And that's West Hollywood to a large degree. We did a story, a friend of mine, a friend of ours lives in Singapore. And she goes, I really love watching Selling Sunset. And I was thinking she was about to say for the drama, for the fashion, for the real estate. She goes, for the restaurants. And it keeps me up to date on where everyone's going in LA to eat.
Yeah.
And so we did a story on like every restaurant they've eaten at. Of course, tons are in West Hollywood. Jason Oppenheim and the Oppenheim Group are right up on the Strip.
Totally.
Okay. So that story inspired us to have a blog on visitwesthollywood.com about all of the places that are featured on reality shows because
cool.
This is a big thing now. It's called set jetting, which is that you want to travel to a place so that you can see the thing that you saw either in the movies or on television or whatever. So there's no better place than West Hollywood to see,
set jet.
To set jet.
I hadn't heard that term. I've heard gig jetting, which is going following around to the Taylor Swift tour and going
and
to
the other
Australia,
tours that are
but set jetting.
happening. Madonna, sure, yes.
Yeah.
But so it would be going some maybe to go to
I'm familiar
Maui
with
to where White Lotus filmed or
yes, right.
Totally.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So, and a lot of people come here just for the restaurants, obviously.
It is interesting. People definitely, I mean, it is a hotbed and I kind of, it's so amazing when you look at what reality shows have done and how they've like really just put, West Hollywood more on the map, probably more than ever before, just because people are watching it.
Yeah,
like, I want to go where they're going.
Lisa Vanderpump obviously did a lot for West Hollywood and Vanderpump Rules became, a global kind of sensation.
Yeah.
So
I heard anyway.
Yes.
You've heard.
I wasn't too caught up in that show, but we covered the scandal, among other things, quite a bit. And then this will be a little competition for West Hollywood. They have the Valley that's coming soon, which is the spin-off in Valley Village.
Yes.
Of some of the people
is that right?
Some of the people from Vanderpump Rules are now adulting.
Oh.
So they're going over the hill.
So they're going over the hill.
That's what happens. To adults, you have to go somewhere else.
You do. You got to go over to the Valley. I get it. I'm picking up what they're laying down. Look, yeah.
One of the other things I thought was good to mention and interesting to me, which we've covered a bit, is also these rise of the consumption lounges in West Hollywood.
Yeah.
Which, again, are not what you would think of, some place, it's not some dingy like dispensary or something. It's these really elevated restaurants, kind of nightlife spots. The one that there's the is it the Woods that Woody Harrelson's involved with?
Yes, the Woods. Yes.
The Artistry is gorgeous. I went and did a sound bath and yoga class above the Artistry once. No cannabis involved, but
need to be.
It's like it's many things for many people. And then we have the newest one that opened just a block from us, which we really like, is the Pleasure Med complex.
Oh yeah.
Which the food is amazing.
Yeah, I've heard.
The decor is amazing. I think with these consumption lounges, the city has really gotten behind them and decided they want to be innovative. They want to be forward thinking. It's legal. So why not?
Yeah.
I think they're finally coming into their stride.
So I always love asking. I've got a couple fun questions that I like to ask our guests, but just the West Hollywood scene in general. Let's say you've got somebody who's never been here before. Okay. This will be exciting for you to use your words.
Okay.
A wordsmith over here. How would you describe West Hollywood to somebody who's never been here before?
How would I describe West Hollywood to someone who's never been
It doesn't
here
need to be
before?
like 500 words. Nobody's counting. Or
I know.
There you are.
I know.
I'm teasing.
This is the guy that sits behind the laptop a lot.
I know.
Carefully crafting what I'm going to write and everything.
I know all the little nuances. But I don't know. How would you describe? Like, there's definitely, because we talk about it all the time, that there is a sort of vibe. I always love when you say this, when you talk about this, almost this pixie dust here.
Yeah.
So
sort of like a little, a jewel of a city.
Ooh.
That's sort of an unlikely hybrid of, of having these small town aspects, but also being a really dynamic place to live.
Yeah.
With people that are doing a lot. I
Movers,
used to
shakers.
live in another city where a lot of people it felt like they'd made their money and they were done and they moved there. And it was kind of a bummer, a little bit. So it's nice to be in a city where it feels like people are inventing things and creating things. And
I love that.
whether it's, back in the day, they've been around a while, like Barry's Boot Camp was, born here, right?
Yes.
So
totally.
Fitness trends come out in West Hollywood. A lot on the retail and style scene as well. Yeah.
Which you hit the nail on the head with that. We talk about this all the time, but it very much, people, this is a home for creatives. And I love that you say that. It's like they're constantly, inventing, creating, innovating. There's just something about the area that is very it's conducive to that. So what's next for you, or anything interesting happening with the Hollywood Reporter?
The big thing for us is that we're gearing up for Oscar coverage. I can't say the next thing after that that's really big, but we have an event that will be in West Hollywood. It's going to be amazing in March. So.
An event in West Hollywood in March? Invite?
Our big annual things.
Okay. Yeah. I got a dress. I don't know. I'll find one.
Yeah, perfect.
You can help style me.
Yes.
You can point me in the right direction. I'm kidding.
Yeah. Thank you for coming in and
you're welcome.
talking with us
You're
about
welcome.
West Hollywood and style and Hollywood Reporter.
It was fun.
It's all the stuff that matters here.
Hey.
You know?
Hey.
Yeah.